Senator, actually stick with me because we have more to talk about here today. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is taking on the cyber war. He's introducing legislation that wraps together cybersecurity with the defense bill. Cybersecurity, after all, is a critical part of our ability to defend our nation. Now, just this week, the president making an ominous warning. Cyber attacks are only going to increase, he says. The warning comes on the heels of a cyber attack on government computers, including Army computers, and compromised at least 4 million former and current federal workers. Senator McConnell hopes to encourage private companies to inform the government when a breach is detected. Privacy advocates fear it gives too much power to the intelligence community. As I said, Senator Mike Rounds still with us, and I want to bring in Leo Hendry, managing partner of Intermediate Partners, as well as Vinny Troia, cybersecurity expert from McGladrys. Senator Rounds, you support Mitch McConnell in this. Explain to us what you think this bill is going to accomplish.
I do support the move. It's very timely, particularly with the loss of information on over 4 million federal employees, past and present. He gives a good example of what happens when you're not up to speed. The cybersecurity bill will not stop the attacks, but what it does is provide us 3 things that can happen once an attack does occur to minimize the damage that's being done. And that's what this bill is set up to do. We'll try to attach it to the National Defense Authorization Act, put both of them together, and send them both out with a very, very strong approval of both Republicans and Democrats, hopefully.
Leo, are you worried that privacy is taking a back seat here to intelligence?
You know, I think the senator's right on this one, as is Leader McConnell. This is a bill that needs to get passed. There's no part of corporate America or our government that's not able to be attacked at this point in time. And what the McConnell bill does is shares information, shares insights to an attack on one company that might be beneficial to another. Mm-hmm. There are ways around the privacy issue. Senator Wyden, who's putting a stop on this bill, as the Senator Rounds will tell you, he's wrong on this one. We need the foundation of a shared sort of counterattack to the cyber hacking. This bill does a pretty good job of that. There are some rough edges on privacy that could be rounded off, Trish, but we need the bill.
Vinny, over to you. You are a former hacker. You now, or I guess I could say a professional hacker of sorts, right? Because this is your business and you help individuals and companies secure themselves. But what, in your view, does a bill like this really do in terms of helping to ensure everyone's safety?
So I think part of the problem with this type of bill is you're asking companies to not only share information, but the type of information you're asking for is somewhat vague. And essentially what you're doing is you're asking them to come forward and not only admit that they've been breached, but admit how they've been breached. And I can't really think of many companies that will volunteer that kind of information. And then I think the bigger issue here is, as with President Obama's recent warning, is that many of these federal agencies don't even have a number of basic security programs in place. So rather than taking the time to worry about sharing information about the breach, why not worry about how to fix the problem or putting in the correct funds or resources to actually secure those systems in the first place?
Yeah, but Vinny, there's a greater good here. They're all at risk eventually, right? If they're not out there sharing this information with each other, then they may be the next victim.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's very true. The problem is you really have to look at the type of information that's being shared. I mean, it's a garbage in, garbage out type of situation. And unless you really have some of that core critical breach data, the information is going to be worthless. So you really got to be careful about what companies are giving.
Leo, I know you wanted to jump in there, so go ahead.
We don't know that it's garbage in, garbage out. What we do know is that a construct is trying to be established that when you hack one major institution in this country, that knowledge may help another institution that hasn't yet been attacked, whether it's the J.P. Morgan attack, the one of our federal employees the other day. There's no merit in holding back my problems from you so that you can avoid yours. I mean, we're all in this together, and it's not going to stop.
And this would force companies to recognize that.
Well, I think they recognize it. I think Senator Rounds
reveal it.
Well, but I think Senator Rounds will tell you there's not been a structure in place to comfortably share. And what this bill will attempt to do is limit liability of sharing. But when you've been attacked, as J.P. Morgan has been at the top of the banking heap, as our own government was just last weekend, it's imperative that we share the attack. We're not sharing our corporate secrets. We're not sharing our business plans. We're sharing the fact that somebody came after us, and maybe what we learned might be beneficial
because
to you.
Because the reality is, it is so important to the defense of our country. This is very much a new kind of warfare. Thank you so much, Vinny. Good to see you. Senator Rounds, good to have you here. And Leo Hendry,
Thank you.
we're going to be talking a little bit later.